Shivani reveals the Giant says when he beats Sting, his new tag team partner will be the Disciple. We know who's not winning before the bell even rings.
Yeah, thank you for giving us the ending.
It bugs me that they always reverse the third German suplex. Like, you just took 2 German suplexes in a row.
That's the trope.
Lodi's still holding up a consign.
Some of his signs are pretty funny.
Yeah, but can you think of anybody more useless than Lodi?
No, yeah, he's pretty useless. Does he ever even wrestle, or is he just a sign guy? I'm picturing someone with like short blonde hair with like a choker necklace.
He teams with Lenny Lane as the West Hollywood Blondes, which is a gay Californian duo with pink trunks and flamboyant haircuts. You get to hear the official Wolfpac theme for the first time. Sadly, they wasted it on Conan. Good job, Randy.
So not only was this his first tap out, but it was also his second one. I had low expectations when he came out there smoking. I'm like, okay. This is about to be a train wreck.
Well, moving on with the Great American Bash, brought to us from WCW. It's 1998. Starts off with a video with Stars and Stripes playing, faintly. Then Voodoo Child kind of sort of cuts in. Sounded like it was remixed by House of Pain or something. And Hollywood Hogan, Bret Hart, and Goldberg were there. Savage and Piper appear, and they still appear to be pissed off at each other. Sting appears to be wearing red face paint, which sounds like he's an official Wolfpac member. And Eddie and Chavo were there as well, which I was surprised that they even got any part of that little video. It's usually the main eventers. It looks like they're still having issues. And Piper, Savage, Bret, and Hogan are last seen, and I guess that's what we're supposed to be invested in tonight. And we were in Baltimore, Maryland. Shivani, Heenan, and Tenay are on commentary. And sure enough, Hogan and Hart versus Savage and Piper are the first thing on their minds. Shivani says Hart and Hogan are working together, ironically, but Savage and Piper can't get on the same page. Heenan says it's all because of that dastardly Bret Hart. Hart has been putting out propaganda and lies in an effort to drive a wedge between Savage and Piper, and it seems to have worked. Then Tenay says that after this mega tag team match, Piper and Savage are going to have a one-on-one match immediately after their tag match. You see Heenan just shake his head over that stupidity. Like, what the fuck?
I didn't, but I actually thought this was happening 3 times. The whole, they're going to face each other again, because I thought they were going to do it for the Giant and Sting too.
Oh, I see.
I didn't quite get what the hell they were saying. Because like, oh yeah, they're going to face each other, and then they're going to pick their tag team partner. It's like, okay, so that's happening. And then I also thought, because I didn't quite get it, they were saying that whoever won the tag team match between Hogan and Hart and Macho Man and Piper, whoever won the tag team match then would go on to face each other one-on-one afterwards. And then they also mentioned for the TV title too.
Well, Heenan said that Bret Hart was putting out a wedge between Piper and Savage, and then Tenay said that Savage and Piper are going to have a one-on-one match immediately after their tag match. I don't know if he specifically said Savage and Piper, but it was right after Heenan said that there's a wedge between them.
Yeah, I guess that's just how I heard it. It's like, maybe I was confusing it with the Giant and Sting had going on.
That's fair. Well, Shivani wants to talk about Sting and Giant, but not without getting Mean Gene's input. And Gene lays it all out. Sting and Giant defeated the Outsiders for the tag titles. Then they went to separate factions, Giant with NWO Hollywood. Sting is now indeed with the Wolfpac. Tonight they face off, and one man will be half of the WCW NWO Tag Champions. So WCW Savior joined forces with one of the men that caused him to hide in the shadows in the first place, which means over a year of story building with Sting just dead in a few short months. Gene concludes by saying it's going to be a hell of an evening, and he's glad to be part of it. And I had no idea why they specifically needed Gene to say all that, but at least he wasn't selling anything.
Yeah, he didn't pimp the hotline.
Shivani reveals the Giant says when he beats Sting, his new tag team partner will be the Disciple. So it's like we know who's not winning before the bell even rings.
Yeah. Thank you for giving us the ending.
Yeah. Sting didn't say who's going to pick, but it'll probably be Virgil or something now that this shit's going on. Like, oh, you want the Disciple? Virgil, get over here. Then they talk about a best of 7 series between Booker T and Benoit. Apparently they wrestled the Thursday night prior. Benoit fucked Booker's knee up something fierce. So Booker's limping into the match. and therefore Heenan picks Benoit to win. Tenay says whoever wins the match will go on to face Fit Finlay for the TV title later. So the last pay-per-view, they had 2 mask gimmicks. Now it's secondary match gimmicks.
Yep.
Then they play the ending of the Thursday match between Benoit and Booker. Bret Hart comes out and hits Booker with a chair, trying to get Benoit to win. I guess they were trying to recruit Benoit. We would later find out. Benoit, who at least was on pay-per-view, seems to be a heel, stops the ref from counting Booker out, and then the ref disqualifies Benoit. So it turns out that the match was the end of the best of 7 series, seemingly, and Booker's shown, as the winner. He's with Stevie Ray. Stevie Ray's back. And he says he respects Benoit more than any man, but he doesn't want to win like that. So he wants to run that match back. And J.J. Dillon's also there. Says the match will happen at the Great American Bash. And Stevie Ray yelled at Dillon, but they cut it off.
And I'll tell you, I was surprised with the ending here, too.
Well, that brings us to Chris Benoit versus Booker T. Determines the number 1 contender for the WCW TV title. Starts off with a lot of back and forth, the feeling out process, as they call it. Looks like Booker starts to build a head of steam. Then Benoit catches Booker with a dragon screw leg whip on the bad leg and completely changes the momentum of the match. Nice shot of sweat flying off Booker T when Benoit chopped him in the corner. They even commented on it. Booker starts to fight back, build a head of steam, hits a leapfrog. Benoit just chops him down. And I don't know if anyone ever hit a better suplex than Benoit. Like maybe Dynamite Kid, especially a snap suplex. Just a thing of beauty from him. Always looks intense. Benoit just kicks Booker's ass. Booker has a couple hope spots, but Benoit's quick to shut him down. Finally, Booker catches Benoit with a power slam, slowly gets up, starts to climb the ropes. Benoit's on his feet before Booker even reaches the middle rope. So Booker goes for his trademark no-look crossbody. And of course, Benoit steps out of the way and simply watches Booker's stupid ass crash to the mat. And Benoit goes back to the kicking Booker's ass. After about the 100th reverse chin lock power-up spot, Booker hits Benoit with an enziguri, then a spine buster, and he pancakes Benoit. So he goes to the top rope again when Benoit's clearly recovering, and then Benoit crotches Booker on the top rope. He hits a superplex. We get a nice visual of both men writhing in pain. Benoit goes to his rolling German suplexes. Booker is able to fight out of the third one, and Benoit ultimately catches him with a dragon suplex for a very near fall. It bugs me that they always reverse the third German suplex. Like, you just took 2 German suplexes in a row.
That's the trophy.
So there's a funny spot where Benoit shoots Booker in the corner. Booker jumps up and does his little twisting leg thing that he turns into a sunset flip, but no one was home. And Benoit's just there, and he takes him out with a chop. Benoit hits a diving headbutt, but the dumb fuck is too hurt to make the cover. Eventually he does, but Booker immediately kicks out. Not even like a 1 count because he took so long to cover. Maybe you should think of a new move. I don't understand the moves. Him and Savage, they have these moves that just do more damage to him than their opponent.
Which Savages?
He does that elbow drop and he always hurts his knee. Oh, he hurt his knee. Oh, he can't make the cover. Oh, they kicked out.
Yeah.
So Benoit tries to shoot Booker in the corner again. Booker reverses it, catches Benoit with a Harlem sidekick in the back of the head, and then another one on the rebound. He totally missed the one on the back of the head. Booker hits another Harlem sidekick, then a missile drop kick. 1, 2, 3. I thought Finlay was going to attack Booker after the match with a shillelagh, but we're not in WWE. I expect a Hornswoggle to come out from under the mat, like Undertaker, and pull Booker into the hole. Like, oh, the little bastard got him.
Pulled him to the depth of hell.
Yeah.
Well, we'll say I did enjoy this match. But yeah, I thought Benoit was going to win. Because that little thing that they did beforehand where, Benoit got himself disqualified because he wanted to win the right way. I thought his redemption arc was going to be to actually win, but no.
You lost anyway.
Yeah. But I guess we're one step closer to a Benoit versus Bret Hart match. Now, I don't know if it happens or not, but it seems like, they're working together. And they said something about Bret's trying to recruit him, so maybe there'll be a match.
Something to look forward to.
Yes, it's going to happen, so that's good.
So we go to the internet location with Chavo Guerrero Jr. He's completely bought into Uncle Eddie's philosophy. Says he was stupid and needs a beating. Tony the Tiger says, Eddie doesn't want to fight you, right? Chavo says, oh, he wants to fight. He's a Guerrero. We love to fight. He's just playing. Chavo says he wants to fight Eddie just as much as Eddie wants to fight him, I guess. Then we have Saturn versus Canyon. I guess Saturn's representing the flock still, despite saying he's only looking out for himself and going his own way from here on out. The last pay-per-view. I don't know. Make it make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
So Canyon was supposed to fight Raven. Raven said he can't fight, so Saturn's fighting instead. And Saturn was not pulling off the bandana look. Just throwing that out there. Then we hear Mortis's music, and out comes Canyon, still dressed as fucking Mortis. Then it cuts to the ring, and the real Canyon attacks Saturn from behind, which I loved that. Because what I thought was going to happen is he was going to take off the Mortis stuff. I'm Canyon from here on out. This is my rebirth. But nope. He bamboozled him.
It was just a ploy.
So Canyon just whips Saturn's ass at first. He hits a modified electric chair, and they say the flock comes out, but it's just Kidman and Lodi, the smallest members. Canyon easily takes him out, or he takes Kidman out. Lodi's just there with a goddamn sign. Saturn gets some karate kicks in. Canyon hits Saturn with a Fame Master from the top rope. Then Horace and Riggs appear, a real murderer's row Raven's been able to collect. Kidman, Riggs, and Horace end up pulling Canyon out of the ring and jumping him. Saturn takes everyone out with a suicide dive, which that was probably the best scenario of a crowd just waiting to catch somebody I've seen. You can tell it kind of got hokey when the cameras switched. You can tell that what they were doing, but it was a good setup, I guess. They weren't just randomly standing in a cluster, just waiting.
Well, the guy's posing and getting ready.
So Nick Patrick tells the flock to leave, so they just leave. Horace said, "We belong out here," which I think is debatable, especially him. And Lodi's still holding up a fucking sign.
Some of his signs are pretty funny.
Yeah, but can you think of anybody more useless than Lodi?
No, yeah, he's pretty useless, but yeah, some of his signs are funny. Does he ever even wrestle, or is he just a sign guy? Maybe it's still him, but I'm picturing someone with like short blonde hair with like a choker necklace. He had a woman ballet.
He teams with Lenny Lane as the West Hollywood Blondes, which is a gay Californian duo with pink trunks and flamboyant haircuts.
Oh boy.
Who are later revealed to be brothers. Okay. It was highly controversial because of their depiction of homosexuality. So back to the match. It's all Saturn now. Saturn basically hits a superplex from the apron. Looked good. There's a lot of good moves in this match. I think to a point, this was the match of the night.
I would still probably favor Booker T. Benoit.
Fair. I wasn't expecting much out of the match itself.
Yeah.
So Saturn hits a reverse drop toe hold and then turns it into an ankle lock, which was really a fucking cool move. Then he hits a springboard clothesline from the corner while Canyon's crouched on the ropes and they both tumble to the floor. Nick Patrick lets Saturn do a springboard stuff off the chair. He hits a beautiful drop kick and a double springboard moonsault from the top rope, which they were awesome moves, but I don't know how necessary the springboards were. How does the springboard make the drop kick more effective? You're still jumping up in the air and kicking him.
I don't know.
Canyon catches Saturn midair with a Northern Lights suplex. Again, fucking awesome moves galore. Then they start getting tired. So you see a lot of sloppy flips and half-assed moves, but it works because it looks like they're both struggling in a combat situation. Canyon ends up hitting Saturn with a reverse F5, and then he hits some weird torture rack diamond cutter combo. Canyon starts gesturing with his hands, the heartbeat lines, the do, and then he flatlines. So stupid. Then he goes for a flatliner, which appears to be a reverse STO. Saturn reverses it. Then commentary argues what a fucking flatliner actually is, because they're like, "Oh no, it's a Samoan drop." No, that's the setup to the flatliner. Weird. And Saturn goes for a Death Valley driver. Canyon fights out. Saturn hits him with a super kick anyway. All Saturn had to do was pin the guy. But instead, he picks him up, goes for a superplex. They both tumble to the fucking floor. And then some mortises appear. And then they toss Saturn and Canyon back into the ring. Then the mortises look at each other. They start circling. And they fight each other. Then they fight outside the ring. And then Canyon hits Saturn with the reverse STO 1, 2, 3. Then Canyon gets DDT'd on the floor by one of the mortises. And it turns out to be Raven. And then Raven grabs a microphone, turns to Saturn, says, "I give you one simple assignment. All you had to do was beat Canyon. And what do? You lose. What about me? What about Raven? You can't do anything right, can you? You never could." That last line pisses Saturn off, and he starts to bow up to Raven. Raven says, "Now look, it's only one loss. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal." The flock comes out, and the Raven says, "You know what? I'm sick of you, Saturn. You want a piece of me, Saturn?" So then Saturn proceeds to strangle Raven, and then the flock jump Saturn. Raven leaves with Horus, and Saturn then kicks the flock's ass all by himself. What I want to know is what happened to the second Mortis?
And who was the second Mortis?
And who was the
They
second?
never revealed who that was. I could tell that one had like makeup over his tattoos because you could faintly see the tattoos. I guess because he's sweating. I'm like, okay, well that one has tattoos, and then the other one, yeah, no idea who that was. Maybe it was Glacier. I'm like, who's that one? Never revealed.
And then Canyon just disappeared.
Oh well, Saturn's getting jumped here. He's nowhere to be found.
And these Mortises are fighting.
Yeah.
Which I think the reverse STO is a weak finisher compared to all the other shit Canyon was hitting. Like, how are you going to hit a reverse F5 and then win with an STO?
He was the innovator of offense.
Yeah,
he did something else during the match. I was like, well, he probably was the first one to do that too. I forgot what it was though.
He was really good.
Yeah, I always liked him just because of that innovator of offense thing. He always did something different during his matches. I always liked it.
He was unique, yeah. So then we show Malenko forfeiting his title. It says if the only way he can get his hands on Jericho is by forfeiting the Cruiserweight title, then done deal. He trusts his abilities. Jericho comes out later to get his title from J.J. Dillon, who says Jericho's first active champion is defending his belt against Malenko, and the title is vacated until then. Then Jericho started whining.
Yep, this is crybaby Jericho. He even had the infos, but I want it now.
Yeah. Chris Jericho versus Dean Malenko for the vacant WCW Cruiserweight title. And Malenko just kicked Jericho's ass. Then Jericho lured Malenko with a baseball slide in the corner. Malenko missed the slide and then started selling his head on the floor for some reason. It's weird. Jericho misses a lion salt. Malenko nails him with a face buster from the top rope. Then Malenko sets Jericho up for the top rope gut buster. Jericho fights out, hits a top rope Frankensteiner. He goes for a power bomb. Malenko fights out of that, turns it into a pin. Jericho turns the pin into a lion tamer, but Malenko goes to the ropes for a huge pop. Jericho goes for another lion tamer. Malenko reverses it into a Texas cloverleaf, but Jericho goes to the ropes too. Then he hits a double underhook backbreaker and starts pummeling Malenko. Then Jericho tells Malenko he's nothing, just like his dead father. Well, Malenko didn't like that very much. So he throws Jericho out of the ring, delivers two of the worst chair shots I've ever seen in my life. Like Nia Jax level chair shots. And then Malenko awkwardly beats up Jericho to the entrance ramp. He throws Jericho into a pile of shit before dragging him to the back. They go out to the parking lot, then a sidewalk. Malenko slams Jericho into a mailbox, and then Doug Dillinger restrains Malenko at this point. Jericho ends up running across the street and into another building. And they cut to an awkward shot of the ring. Jericho's declared the winner as a result of disqualification. And before we can think too much about the impacts of the Cruiserweight title, we go back to the internet location.
Yep. They're like, we'll find out more about that on Nitro, because got to keep you coming back.
I don't know about this match.
Yeah, they've had better matches, we'll just say, yeah.
Malenko just got the title last pay-per-view. I don't understand why he's still chasing Jericho. I guess if I watch the Nitros, it makes sense.
Yeah, he's got to get revenge on it for whatever happened on Nitro.
Right. Well, at the internet location, Eddie's there. He's apparently scared of the nutcase he created in Chavo. Says grandma don't want them to fight. Basically spends the whole time pleading with his nephew. Then we get a Juventud Guerrero vignette. He's just walking around a Mexican villa, trying to look pretty. Then he sits for a bit. Then he runs up some stairs. If I didn't see Hornswoggle rap before this stuff, then I would be pissed.
It was weird, but he didn't really do anything.
Exactly. He's just walking around some shit. He opened a gate, stared at his reflection on some water, sat on some stairs, then he ran up the stairs. What was the point?
Nothing.
Exactly.
It's the building for what was about to come.
Oh, God. Might as well get to it. Juventud Guerrero versus Reese. I have no idea who sat down and said, you know what would be really great to have on pay-per-view? Juventud Guerrero versus Reese. That'll get the asses in seats. Reese offends me. The 12-year-old kid hair caked in semen, the fake beard, the beer gut, having all that damn size and no muscular tone whatsoever, the fucking sneakers, the fact that he wore the goddamn shirt around his waist when he wrestled, which to me, it looked like he was wearing an apron because he looked like a fucking dishwasher that got lost on his way to cleaning the arena shitters. Fuck Reese.
That's fair.
Yeah. Starts with Juvi trying to slug it out with Reese. Reese just tosses him. Juvi goes to the floor to try to bait Reese into falling into a suicide dive trap. Reese catches Juvi and posts him when Juvi attempted the dive. Juvi goes for Reese's legs. When he tries to get back in the ring, Reese just shoves him off. Reese does the thing where he puts his hand on Juvi's head and keeps him at arm's length, and Juvi's swinging. Then Juvi goes back to the legs, locks in a sleeper hold after jumping from the top rope. Reese actually falls to one knee before squashing Juvi in the corner. Then he does a backbreaker and tosses Juvi again. Then he applies a bear hug. Juvi kicks Reese in the balls twice. Ref just stared right at it. Reese dropped to his knees and takes Juvi out with a right hook. And Reese hits Juvi with a suplex, then wants the ref to count him out. And Juvi beats the count. Reese gets pissed, goes to the floor, grabs a chair, goes to clobber Juvi, but the ref snatches the chair at the last second. Ref starts yelling at Lodi on the apron for some reason. Juvi tries to do a Frankensteiner to Reese from the top rope, but gets caught. Van Hammer comes from nowhere, hits Reese with a chair, which in an awkward as fuck way allowed Juvi to hit the Frankensteiner 1, 2, 3. Fuck everything about this.
Yeah, we probably could have done without that match.
Oh my God. And after the match, Juvi jumped in Van Hammer's arms and was carried away. And Reese, the 400 pounds of useless shit that he is, threw a fit with Lodi and his goddamn sign.
You know, his highlight in WCW, as I remember, is being jackhammered by Goldberg. Like, that's pretty much what he's there for.
That's true, yeah. Which I don't even know if that's on the pay-per-view. I think that's just Nitro. So good job, Reese.
Yeah.
We have Chavo Guerrero Jr. versus Eddie Guerrero. Chavo comes out conflicted about slapping hands with the fans. Eddie tries to shake hands with Chavo, says he doesn't want to fight. Chavo slaps Eddie, but that just pisses Uncle Eddie off. They start brawling after doing Eddie's chest slap jerk-off thing. They go back and forth. Eddie tries to leave. Then Eddie kicks the ropes into Chavo's dick when he's getting back in the ring. Chavo hits Eddie with a moonsault from the top rope after flipping and landing on his feet from the top rope on the other side of the ring. And then Eddie hits Chavo with a brainbuster, stands over his nephew to berate and slap him. Chavo does the Undertaker throat grab thing, then blatantly strangles Eddie, screaming like a madman. Eddie starts running around the ring. Chavo chases. Eddie hides behind the referee. Chavo pushes the ref aside. Eddie chop blocks Chavo's knee. And he locks in a figure four, a gory special, then a camel clutch. Fans start taunting Eddie. He stops to tell him to kiss his ass. Then Eddie gets dumped out of the ring. Chavo hits a dive. Crowd starts chanting really loudly for Flair for some reason. I think earlier they were chanting for Goldberg as well. And then Chavo goes for a frog splash, but slips off the top rope. Eddie goes for a frog splash and just misses. Then Chavo hits a springboard tornado DDT. 1, 2, 3. Good win for Chavo.
Yeah, I was surprised that he won clean. And
Something
then,
missing here, though.
what is that?
I don't know. Just their matches with the Ultimo Dragon were so good.
Oh,
Can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think about it. Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder where we go from here, though, with Eddie and Chavo. He beat his uncle, so now is he free? Can't really have somebody under slavery that can whoop your ass, can you?
You can't, but I don't know. I think he's all in. I don't even think he wants to be free anymore. When he was talking in the internet position, he was talking about he was right all along. I should have listened to him at the beginning.
That's true.
So yeah, it kind of sounds like he's just in now.
So that maybe this is when Eddie just separates from Chavo. Like, you're too crazy for me.
Which is funny because Eddie was still coming out and doing his heel thing.
You always got to put on a brave face.
True.
So the commentary team kills some time. Shivani wonders how the hell Savage and Piper can coexist when they have a match immediately after the big tag match they have. Heenan says it's all Bret Hart's fault. He's doing the bidding of Hogan and Bischoff. Someone's going away in a meat wagon as a result. Shivani says Piper and Savage have always disliked each other. Now it's just intensified. Tenay says pretty much the same exact shit he said at the beginning of the show about Hogan and Hart being a team and the other two being at odds. Then he asks if they can both coexist, which is a point that Shivani went over. Good job, Tenay. Then they play a clip of Piper and Savage at the last Nitro. Piper says they have to stick together for the tag match. Savage is belligerent and doesn't trust Piper. He's not a mark. Piper says he's tagging with Savage to beat the Double H's. After, Savage's ass belongs to Piper. And Savage ends up decking Piper. Then Piper decks Savage. Then we move on to the next match with no further discussion. It's like, that just happened. Don't need to talk about it.
The ultimate can they coexist happening there.
So we have Booker T versus Fit Finlay for the WCW TV title. And it's so nice to see Finley coming out to real music instead of that generic Irish jig shit.
Actually, didn't even hear his music.
It was like generic 80s rock sounding music, but it was a lot better than the flutes and shit.
The happy music, hornswoggle music.
Yes. Booker starts the match like he didn't wrestle earlier. What a fine singles run this has been for him, by the way. And he hits a hell of a flying forearm, then a crossbody to Finley on the floor. Finley starts working on Booker's injured leg with a series of leg submissions, including a figure 4 leg lock. Then Finley slams Booker's knee on the apron, wraps it around the ropes, trying to rip it out of its socket. Finley does a stretch muffler to the injured leg, which was awesome. And he dumps Booker out of the ring, grabs a chair, referee steps in, which they really love going to the like dumping people on the floor and grabbing a chair thing in this era.
Mm-hmm.
Finley compromises by slamming Booker's leg against the steel post. They get back to the ring. Finley hits a Vader bomb to Booker's leg, and Booker catches Finley with a spin kick and a power slam. Before that, the dumb fuck fans were chanting boring, which this was anything but boring.
I thought I heard that. And this was right before they started chanting, "No, no, 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 goodbye" to someone.
I think a fan got kicked out.
Yeah, they did that, and then after that, they were chanting boring.
Yeah, this was not a boring match. Fit Finley was going after that injured leg and nothing else, which was great. So Booker hits a axe kick, then does a spinneroonie, but Finley's there to deck him with a lariat like as soon as Booker gets to his feet. Finley signals for a tombstone. He picks Booker up, then Booker slowly starts to topple over and ends up reversing the tombstone. Then he drops Finley. He tries to pick him back up, which was worse, and Finley immediately audibled to a pin, it looked like. He tried to pick him up, and then he just like fell on his ass. And then Finley ended up just falling on him, and yeah, he had to turn it into a pin. So Finley misses a shoulder tackle in the corner. Booker hits the weirdest pile driver I've ever seen. And yeah, one's 1, 2, 3. It was like a tombstone, but yeah. And Stevie Ray came out to celebrate with Booker.
And your new TV champion. And again, I just thought it was going to be Benoit because of the whole arc before, but it is Booker T.
So, if I'm not mistaken, this whole thing started because Benoit came out and distracted Booker. So Finley won.
Mm-hmm.
And then Booker did the same thing to Benoit. And they've been fussing and feuding ever since. So when Benoit finally has the chance to vanquish his rival at the assistance of Bret Hart, he says no. And he loses anyway.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Because, he wanted to do the right thing, I guess. Went it the right way.
But he started off by costing the guy a title.
And then too.
So, I mean, why at his detriment do you decide to do the right thing when he could have done the right thing when it didn't even involve him?
Yeah, I don't know.
So Conan versus Goldberg happened for the U.S. title. We get to hear the official Wolfpac theme for the first time. Sadly, they wasted it on Conan. I like when they cut to the black fans dancing. It was like, see? It's popular, guys.
Yeah.
Conan comes out with Rick Rude and Mr. Perfect. And for some reason, Goldberg is billed from parts unknown. And he's 99-0 coming into this match somehow. We get very loud Goldberg chants. He has the sparkler entrance now. So it's like, this is Goldberg.
Yep, we're here.
And
all that's missing is him blowing out the smoke of the fireworks.
And the coming out from the dressing room.
Oh, yeah, with the guards.
And at this point, I'm laughing because Goldberg is wrestling fucking Conan. So they lock up. Goldberg shoves Conan. Conan retreats to the floor, gets coached by Rude and Perfect. I think Conan tries a Russian leg sweep or something. Goldberg reverses it into a really awkward version of his leg submission. Goldberg shoots Conan into the corner. Conan gets his feet up when Goldberg gives chase. Goldberg hits a spear when Conan finally thinks he's going to get the advantage, even though Goldberg clearly recovered well before Conan tried to attack. It's kind of like when Saturn did the springboard thing and got speared. He sees Goldberg recover and scream and, well, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Goldberg talks shit to Rude and Mr. Perfect, then hits a jackhammer, 1, 2, 3. And he is now 100-0. And then some fat cow had a pin me Goldberg sign in the crowd, which was special. And then Rude and Perfect.
See that.
Oh, I did. Rude and Perfect attacked Conan after the match for some reason. Turns out Perfect was NWO Hollywood all along. And I'm looking forward to more of that. No, I'm really NWO Red.
Yeah, I was like, oh, here we go. People are just jumping teams here.
Nash and Luger come out for the save. So apparently Mr. Perfect was so scared to face Goldberg, he faked a knee injury, conned Conan into taking his place, then jumped to another team.
Yeah.
We get a Bash of the Beach advertisement. A couple are on a beach. Two wrestlers I've never seen before interrupt them. Giant comes out of the water, says something's going down. And he's not taking anyone down with the fucking disciple at his side. I'll tell you that. And can you imagine buying Bash of the Beach going off of that commercial alone?
No. Well, I mean, they're all kind of just generic. You know, the last one you had Raven talking about the constructs of American
stupid
whatever
family.
he's saying. Yeah.
I never had barbecues. My uncle made me play What's That Taste Like instead of barbecues. Hollywood Hogan and Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper and Randy Savage. Some pig in the crowd had a men in skirts turn me on side. That was special as well. And this is the first time Piper and Savage have teamed, apparently. It's also the first time Hogan and Bret have also teamed. I would have loved to have been privy to the discussion of them trying to sell this to Bret. Like, all right, what you're going to do is you're going to tag with Hulk Hogan. You're going to be friends. All right, so when do I hit him with the chair? No, that's the best part.
Yeah, I don't know. But overall, this on paper, this looks like you got 4 legends in there.
Yeah, it did dawn on me at one point, like, it's Piper, Savage, Bret, and Hogan. The star power. It's off the chains. So it starts off with Savage and Piper arguing, of course. Then Piper and Hogan circle each other for a long time. Piper ends up calling timeout and swarms Hogan. Piper and Savage take turns eye-poking Hogan in a cartoon-like manner. Then Piper and Savage start working well as a team. They do a lot of double team moves, then, clean tag shit and none of the forced tag stuff. When they slap him in the back and then they do the stare. What are you doing? How dare you?
Yeah. Hard tags.
Yeah, thank you. Piper blatantly bites Hogan on the side of the face, then shows off his pure striking abilities in the corner. There's more double teaming, quick tags by Savage and Piper. Disciple ends up hitting Piper with the world title belt, and Bret and Hogan start working well as a team, which that was surprising to me. It was surprising to me how into it Bret seemed. He was very committed.
Yeah, it sure was.
So they keep fucking with Savage so they can do cheap shots to Piper behind the ref's back. So Bret hits Piper with a Russian leg sweep, then an elbow drop from halfway across the ring. And then Piper ends up tagging in Savage when the ref didn't see. I love when they used to do that. Like, no, I didn't see it. It didn't happen. Now they don't even bother.
Tag team wrestling doesn't get as much shine as it used to.
Savage ends up grabbing a chair and he places it on Piper just as Bret does his nut headbutt thing. So Bret goes face first into the chair. Savage gets tagged in, opens a can of whoop ass on Hogan and Bret. Eventually, the 2-on-1 advantage overwhelms Savage, and Bret grabs Savage from behind. Hogan ends up taking Bret out with the clothesline. Brawl ensues. Savage goes for the elbow drop to Bret. Hogan whips Piper into the ropes, causing Savage to get crotch. Commentary's explanation was that Savage's knee just gave out. I mean, Hogan looked at Savage climbing on the ropes, threw Piper into the ropes. Savage fell. That's what happened. His knee didn't get out. Open your fucking eyes. There's 3 of you. Disciple attacks Piper again. Hogan wraps Savage's leg around the steel post. Bret locks Savage in the sharpshooter. Savage just taps. Did he submit this time?
He did.
Okay.
For sure. I remember seeing something online about that being the first time Savage actually tapped out. Maybe it wasn't, but
if we're to believe the last pay-per-view, Slamboree, this would be the first time. Because they said Savage has never tapped out, and then we had that big to-do about, well, no, he saw the knucks.
Yeah. He did see the knucks. We established that that's how it ended.
I'm saying what happened. I'm not rehashing the argument.
Okay. Because we established.
But yes, this would be the first time, allegedly, that Savage tapped out. If we were to believe what we were told in Slamboree.
Yeah. So sad for that. But, it is a sharpshooter. So much can only happen.
That's true. So Mean Gene gets to the ring. Gene says Savage really gave it up tonight. What's going on between the two of you? He asks how can Piper think about continuing with the one-on-one match that they discussed earlier with Savage all fucked up. And Piper waves off Gene, then goes to help Savage up. And as thanks, Savage decks Piper and starts choking him. So they ring the bell. And we get Roddy Piper versus Randy Savage. And the ref stops Savage from choking Piper. Savage decks Piper and hits the elbow drop. And that fucks Savage's injured leg up even more. So Piper is able to kick out. Savage takes the ref out for no reason. And then Piper locks in a figure 4. A second referee comes out. Savage submits again. Good job, Randy.
At the time. So not only was this his first tap out, but it was also his second one.
And all he had to do was accept Piper's help.
Yeah. All you had to do was just say the match can't go on, but that's not the madness.
Well, the Mad List said, I quit. That brings us to the Giant versus Sting, which determines the control of the WCW tag team titles. And Giant comes out to NWO theme music and then just lights up a cigarette. I guess illustrating that he's a bad guy. They also said that Sting said that Giant he doesn't work out or some shit, doesn't take care of himself.
Yeah, basically, he'd be better in the wrestling industry if he took his diet serious and stopped smoking. Which, seeing him in WWE, you can agree with that.
True. Sting comes out. Buffer says the Lone Wolf is now a member of the Wolfpac. And Giant blows smoke in Sting's face. Sting just kicks Giant's ass. Sting goes for a Stinger splash but gets swatted down. Sting ducks a couple clotheslines from Giant and then goes for a crossbody, then bounces harmlessly off Giant. I'm like, man, he's really ducking those clotheslines with some speed. Just shooting under him. He goes for the crossbody and poof. And Giant just looks at him like, what the fuck? Giant hits an elbow drop, then lawn darts Sting in the turnbuckles. Sting catches Giant with a drop kick to his knee. Then he hits a Stinger splash a couple times. He scoop slams Giant, then locks in a sharpshooter. Giant powers out of the sharpshooter. So Sting just grabs him, hits the reverse DDT. But Giant kicks out. Giant goes for a choke slam. Sting blocks it somehow and hits a second reverse DDT. Giant kicks out again. Then Giant goes for a charging something in the corner. Sting blocks it, hits a reverse DDT off the top rope, 1, 2, 3. And Sting is given the tag belts, and we're left wondering who his new tag team partner is going to be.
We'll find out on Nitro, of course.
Or maybe Bash at the Beach.
Yes. But yeah, I will say, I didn't think this match was going to turn into anything. Because, when the Giant came out there smoking, I was like, okay. I remember everybody was getting fed up with the booking or whatever, and they would stop trying. And I thought this was part of it, like him coming out just smoking a cigarette because he didn't care. It was just part of the gimmick, I guess, or part of the story.
Yeah, we're a couple years away from that. I think when Nash becomes world champion, definitely when Russo comes.
Yeah, we need Russo to be there. I had low expectations when he came out there smoking. I'm like, okay. This is about to be a train wreck.
I'm just glad it was short.
Definitely was short, yeah.
Well, yeah, the next pay-per-view is WCW Bash at the Beach, 1998. It's in San Diego, California. Main event is Hollywood Hogan and Dennis Rodman, with the Disciple, of course, versus Diamond Dallas Page and the Mailman, Karl Malone.
This is one of them.
But before that, we have WrestleMania 31, which took place in Levi's Stadium in San Francisco, California. 9 matches were contested at the event, including 2 matches on the kickoff pre-show thing. In the main event, Seth Rollins cashed in his Money in the Bank contract as the match between defending champion Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns was in progress, resulting in an impromptu triple threat match. And the notable matches include The Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt, and this is Taker's first on-screen appearance since losing to Lesnar. And yes, Wyatt 100% carried the feud in WrestleMania. Like, I think they just did little clips of Undertaker's voice and shit. It was 100% Wyatt.
That's fair.
We had John Cena versus Rusev for the WWE United States Championship. Rusev Day. Rusev's undefeated streak coming into WrestleMania against the established veteran, John Cena, who's 100 times world champion by now. Looking forward to that. Triple H versus Sting, no disqualification match. This will be Sting's debut match in WWE, as well as his only WrestleMania match ever.
So I think I was back into wrestling at this point, because I do remember this match.
I remember it too, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Another notable match was the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which is already on the pre-show. Big Show won this time.
Good for him.
And that is our Wrestling Rewind.
Good stuff, good stuff. With the last pay-per-view, I thought this one was going to be worse. Or not worse, but, I thought they were going downhill from here. But there's a lot of stuff I enjoyed on that show.
I enjoyed every single match, and I hated almost every single finish.
Yeah, I can see that. Especially, after the first 2 matches, everything was booked weird. I don't know. When the NWO's involved, why do you always have to put some kind of craziness on it?
No shit.
And seemingly, when the Flock is involved, it's get the same thing.
Whenever there's factions.
Yeah, like there's always got to be some kind of crazy thing.
But yeah, Booker and Benoit, the finish was good there. Saturday and Canyon, the stupid double mortis thing, just killed it. That's why I'm like, it's the match of the night, but that happened. Like, how can I, in good conscience,
Yeah. And okay, if it was at Halloween Havoc, then it makes a little bit more sense.
True. Yeah. But even then, man.
And I just thought about something. You know, at the beginning of that match, there was that Mortis. So was that the same Mortis that was getting his ass beat at the end?
Or is there possibly a third Mortis?
Yeah. Is that a different Mortis?
Oh my God. Yeah, Jericho Malenko. I didn't really care for the parking lot. I like the idea of Malenko getting so fed up that he just takes Jericho outside, but then the hokiness of Jericho running across the street and hiding and
Yeah, I thought they were going for a bigger spot. Like Jericho gets hit by a car or something.
That'd be funny. Yeah, I was thinking he'd get like thrown through a windshield or something, or
Yeah,
when
but
they slam him on the car.
yeah, I mean, you could tell the people that were driving were not a part of the thing. They didn't know what the hell was going on.
Then yeah, who would Reese? I don't want to talk about that anymore.
The less we say about that, the better.
Yep, let that die a death. Chavo and Eddie, yeah, the finish was all right. I think I just wanted Eddie to win.
That was a little surprising.
Booker and Fit, I can't blame them. But the finish was botched. It wasn't a bad finish. Conan Goldberg was quick. Savage Piper, all that shit was a mess.
Yeah, and it's again, just go out there and be who you are.
And then the 3 reverse DDTs.
And the last one was super weird too, like the giant letting out that scream. Oh! But yeah, that was our retro. On your way out, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And on that note, survey says, one more for the good guys.